Neyse. Takalım yok ya. Boş yapma. Boş yapma. Kırmayayım kafanı. Evet. Bir sakinleyelim. Fazla gerildim. Açacağım kanka. Sakin ol. Oyun bile sabırsız. Sakin. Evet. Nasıl oldu? Şeyi kapattım. Güvenliği kapattım ya Serkan. Ondan sonra yeniden açtım, kapattım. Ondan sonra oldu. Yani güvenlik duvarından olabilir. Hadi.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
Sizde gözükmüyor mu altyazı? Aa. Şu an ben Streamlabs'te görmüyorum altyazıyı. Siz görüyor musunuz? Analı bacılı vallahi söveceğim şimdi bak. Bir dakika. Baştan başlatalım. Saçmalamayın yani. Nasıl gözükmez ya? Nasıl gözükmez? Peki şöyle gözüküyor mu? Aa, böyle gözüküyor. Oyunu alınca gözükmüyor. Yama olduğu için mi?
A lot of this isn't going to make sense
Tamam.
to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning.
En başından anlatmaya başlayacağım. Evden başlayarak. Çok şükür. Şu an gözüküyor. Hassasiyetini biraz bir tık. Şurelim.
I lived here until I was 11.
11
but I
yaşıma
wasn't
kadar
allowed
burada
inside half
yaşadım
the
ama
rooms.
odaların yarısına girmem yasaktı. Okey. Hızlı yürüme yok galiba.
I hadn't been back since my brother
Kardeşim
Lewis's
Lewis'in
funeral.
cenazesinden beri buraya dönmemiştim. Mutlu.
In her will, my mother left me a key but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she
Hadi
thought I'd
bakalım.
know.
Belki anlayacağımı saldı.
She
Belki
thought the
de bu
mystery was
gizemin
enough
beni
to bring
geri
me back.
getirmek için yeterli olacağını düşündü diyor. Rahat okuyabiliyor musunuz? Ya Rabbim şükür. Şöyle yapalım mı? Bunu biraz yukarıya alalım. Tamam, o zaman benim okumama da gerek yok. Hep birlikte, hep birlikte. Şunu da şöyle biraz yukarıya alalım. Hep birlikte arkadaşlar. Evet. Şimdi evimize gidiyoruz. Bir bakalım.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a
Kimsenin
few hoof
kullanmamasına
prints.
ama bazı toynak izleri var. Ne gibi acaba? Yalnız böyle de ev yolu iyiymiş he. Aa! Tövbe. Ne güzel gittin. Gidebiliyoruz mu bu yoldan? Yok. Okey.
The truth
Zeynep hoş
is,
geldin. Gerçek
even
şu
after
ki
I
ev
inherited
bana
the
miras
house,
kaldıktan sonra
I
bile
never
buraya
thought I'd
döneceğimi
come back to it.
düşünmemiştim. Oo,
But
miraslı
now I
ev.
have questions about my family
Ama
that only
şimdi
the
ailem
house knew the
hakkında
answers
sadece
to.
evin cevaplayabileceğini bildiğim sorularım var.
The
Dolu.
house was exactly like I
Ev tam
remembered
olarak
it, the
hatırladığım
way I'd been
gibiydi.
dreaming
Kafamda
about it.
nasıl canlandırdıysam öyleydi. Okey. Evi göreyim. Görelim. Evet. O zaman biz çok küçük değil miyiz?
As a child, the house
Ben
made me
çocukken ev
uncomfortable in a
kelimelerle
way I
ifade
couldn't put
edemediğim
into
bir şekilde
words.
beni rahatsız ederdi. Sebep?
Now, as a 17-year-old,
17
I
yaşında
knew
biri olarak
exactly
o
what those words
kelimelerin ne
were.
olduklarını biliyordum.
I was
Evden
afraid of the house.
korkuyordum. Kanka bu korku değil diye düşünüyorduk. Korku mu bu biraz? Evet.
I hoped the key might unlock the front
Umarım
door.
anahtar ön kapıyı
It
açar.
didn't.
Ananın ağzı. Ne yapacağız?
Looking in, I felt like the
İçeri
house
bakınca
itself
sanki
had been
evin
waiting
beni
for me.
beklediğini hissettim. Yok ya. Tamam, 17 yaşındayız. Cevocum hoş geldin. Ön kapı olmadıysa bir arka kapı var. Ama buradan geçemeyeceğiz galiba. Peki böyle yavaş mı yürüyorsun hep? Ee, dakika bir gol bir mal olduk. Heh. Okey. Aa, böyle mi girecektik eve?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot
Köpek
easier when
kapısından
I was
sürünerek
11.
geçmek 11 yaşımdayken çok daha kolaydı. Kankacığım bilmiyoruz ki, bakacağız işte, göreceğiz. Tatlı chill hikayeli bir oyunmuş. Ama keşke first person olmayaymış. Midemiz kalkmayaymış. İyiymiş. Cevo sen bu ara hep bayılıyorsun zaten kanka. Evet. Buralarda alacağımız bir şey olursa yanar söner herhalde. İnşallah.
For the first time in years,
Yıllar sonra ilk kez. Hadi
I felt
bakalım.
like I was home.
Evimde gibi hissettim diyor.
But instead of a family, there were
Ama
just
bir aile
memories
yerine
of one.
sadece anılar vardı. Ah lan.
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery,
Lewis
we all got
konserve
sick of eating
fabrikasında
salmon.
çalışmaya başladıktan
Except our
sonra
cat, Molly.
hepimize somon balığı yemekten gına gelmişti. Kedimiz Molly dışında. Okey.
Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had
Sadece
Chinese a
bir
lot.
restoran evimize teslimat yapıyordu. Çok fazla Çin yemeği yerdik. Oh lan, ne severim. Ne severim. Her gün olmasa da yerim yani. Sık sık olsa.
The table was still a wreck from the night
Masa
we
gittiğimiz
left.
geceden kalma enkazıyla duruyor. Sanki bir bomba patlamış, herkes ölmüş fakat mobilyalar sağ kalmıştı. Allah Allah. Acaba bunlara ne oldu?
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing my mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Annem büyük anne Edie'nin bir huzur evinde yaşadığını hayal edebilen tek kişiydi. Okey.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Bütün dişlerini göstererek
Even the
sırıtmıyor ama
fireplace had a story.
şöminenin ayrı bir hikayesi
Edie
olsa
told me the
bile
bricks came from
Edie
the original
tuğlaların
house
asıl evin batmasından
after it
sonra
sank.
geldiğini söylemişti. Güzelmiş kanka. Ev de güzelmiş bu arada hakikaten ama her yer kitap. Anne baba akademisyen falan mıydı acaba? Kanka burayı yeni aldım. Ben aldım. Bu ev benim. Beklerim. Buyur gel. Evet, devam ediyorum. Burada bir şey kalmadı sanırım. Bakıyorum evime. Bu ne?
great grandpa Sven built a music box for
Büyük
Barbara.
baba Sven evin
along
geri
with the rest of the house.
kalanlarıyla birlikte Barbara için müzik kutusu yapmıştı. Kim o? İyi. Bücük koleksiyonu. Tamam, bu çalsın.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I
Annem
wasn't
sürekli
too
bodrumdan
surprised
uzak
when the
durmamı
key didn't
söylerdi.
fit.
Uyumasaydı sürpriz olmazdı. Ya ananın nikahı, anahtar mı bulacağız şimdi? Nereden bulacağız? Bakıyoruz. Buralarda bir şey yok. Şuraya bakalım.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Annem çok iyimser biri olmamasına rağmen kardeşim Milton'ın yaşadığına inanmayı hiç bırakmadı. Kardeş kayıp. Kardeş kayıp. Anne baba büyük baba falan yaşıyorlarmış. Onlar
A lot of
gitmiş.
things got left behind in the
Dün
whirlwind of
geceki
that last
kasırgada
night.
birçok şey geride kaldı. Burası ne baba?
Edie told me once that every Finch who
Eddie
ever
bir
lived is
keresinde
buried
bana bu
somewhere
evde
in the
yaşamış her
library.
Finch'in bu kütüphanede bir yere gömüldüğünü söylemişti. Okey. Kapıyı açmayacağız mı? Herkese bir şeyler olmuş bebiş. Kardeş kayıp. Tövbe estağfurullah gibi bir şey olmuş.
After Milton disappeared,
Bu ev
Mom
bu
sealed
kıza
off all the
kalmış.
bedrooms.
Milton kaybolduktan sonra annem bütün yatak odalarını kilitledi. Allah Allah.
Then Edie retaliated and drilled
Sonra Eddie
peepholes.
ona inat kapı deliklerini matkapla deldi. Manyak gibi. Evet.
Whenever people ask me about my family,
İnsanlar bana ailemi
the
sorduklarında
first thing they
öğrenmek
always want to
istedikleri
know
ilk
about is
şey hep
Barbara.
Barbara'ydı. Barbara? What is the Barbara? Bu kim?
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
Asıl evi Eddie'nin babası Odin inşa etmişti. Bu Eddie'nin babasıymış. Buraya bakıyoruz mu?
Barbara was a child star for 2
Barbara
years.
2 yıl boyunca bir çocuk
Until
yıldızı
America
olmuştu.
grew
Ta
out
ki
of it.
büyüdüğünde Amerika ondan vazgeçene kadar. Allah Allah. Eve bak. Uuu, estağfirullah. Evet.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs.
Annem
when the night
ayrıldığımız
left.
gece 3. katın merdivenlerini kilitlemiş olmalıydı. Babacığım, siz her yeri kilitlemişsiniz, kapatmışsınız biz. Ne yapacağız evin içinde? Şimdi yani her yer kilitli olursa kalbin.
My grandpa Sam spent 7 years
Büyük
sharing a
baba
room with
Sam
his dead
7 yıl
brother,
boyunca odasını
Calvin.
ölen kardeşi Calvin ile paylaşmıştı. Olur. Evet, bu kimin? Tövbe, Georgie. Georgie kim?
As a kid, I just assumed every
Çocukken
house
her
had
evde kapı
peepholes and
delikleri
sealed
ve
rooms
içeri
you weren't allowed
girilmemesi gereken
inside of.
odalar olduğunu zannederdim. Kanka biz de şu an öyle zannediyoruz ama hiç bize yardımcı olmuyorsun yani. Bu Seven ve Eddie.
The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my
Endüstrinin odasında
portrait.
en son bulunduğumda 10 yaşındaydım ve portremi çiziyordum. Evet. Tabii efendim. Bebiş. Ne yapacak? Tövbe. Dur bakalım. Gireceğiz oraya. Bu ne? Molly.
Molly always seemed like a girl I
Molly
could
her zaman
imagine being
arkadaşım
friends
olarak
with.
hayal
If
edebileceğim
she
bir
hadn't
kız
died in
gibiydi.
1947.
1947'de ölmemiş olsaydı. Allahümme salli, bu ev şey mi? Saklama kampı mı acaba? Herkes burada. Bu ne
I
böyle?
spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Büyük amca Walter'ın odasında oyun
I think my
oynamayı.
mom sometimes regretted
Sanırım
not
annem
sealing
zaman
it
zaman
up.
odasını kapatmadığı için pişman oluyordu.
Arkadaşlar kanalımıza abone olmayı sakın unutmayın, tamam mı?
Allah Allah, odaya bir bak. Oda mı galiba o? Ne bu, sanat evi mi ya? Nasıl ev bu?
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never
Lewis bana
believed
gizli
him.
geçitler olduğunu söylemişti ama hiç inanmamıştım. Bu bari burayı taksın. Ah çok şükür Rabbim. Çek çek çek çek çek çek
Turns
çek
out
çek, devam et
my mom
devam
was
et.
really good at keeping secrets.
Annem sır saklamakta gayet iyiydi.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Şimdi annemin neyden korktuğunu anlama zamanı geldi. Allah Allah. Hadi bakalım. Evet. Tövbe. Bir anda jumpscare yiyormuşuz. Kafamıza patlıyormuş her şey.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I
Sen
had a
bunu
plan,
okurken sanki bir planım varmış gibi gözükebilir. Evet.
but I had no idea what was behind that door.
Ama kapının arkasında ne olduğuna dair bir fikrim yoktu. Okey bebiş. Bizim de yok
Just
ama.
like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Tıpkı bütün bunların nereye varacağını bilmediğim gibi. Leda bana dedin ki chill bir oyun bu dedin. Abla dedin. Korkacak edecek gerilecek bir şey yok dedin. Bayağı ölülerin her odada böyle farklı bir şeylerin olduğu bir oyuna geldik.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the
Kapı
peephole.
deliğinde Molly'nin odasına bakarken bu odada ilk kez bulunmak bana sanki duvardaki bir resmin içine girmişim gibi hissettirdi. Çek bakalım.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own
Molly'nin
even tinier gerbil
Gerbil'inin
cage.
de kendine ait, hatta Gerbil kafesinden ufak bir yatak odası vardı. Bu neymiş la? Aç bir. Kız geri aç. Allah belanı. Hamster mı bu? Ne bu? Eğilmiyor mu? Mekanik de yok ama. Allah Allah. Odalara bir bak ha. Bakamıyoruz bunun deliğinde. Bakamıyoruz.
Being inside for the first time, I felt
Bu
like
odada
I'd
ilk
stepped
kez
behind a
bulunmak bana sanki
painting.
duvardaki bir resmin içine girmişim gibi. Tamam, onu anladım kanka. Midem kalktı gene. Ay bu da çok oldu. Diyaloglar yüksek. Tamam. Tövbe estağfirullah. Ne güzelmiş lan. Evet.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving.
Uyandım ve
looked
açlıktan
around for
ölüyordum.
something to
Etrafta
eat.
yiyecek bir şeyler aradım. Ya bunu da mı biz oynayacağız?
My Halloween candy was
Bütün
all
Cadılar
gone.
Bayramı şekerlerim buhar olup uçmuştu. Ha, biz Molly olduk.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Lan çocuk aç lan. Baba Molly olduk ya biz. Balıksı varmış.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I
Christopher'ı
held
yemeyi
back.
düşündüm ama sonra kendimi durdurdum. Kız manyak mısın? Balık yenir mi öyle çiğ? Pişir bari de öyle ye. Manyak. Tövbe. Evet. Balığı yiyek mi? Zeynep valla. Molly ile kafan aynı çalıştı. Aa niye karanlık oldu bu kadar? Şekerimiz yok.
The
Hamster, Molly.
gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Allah belanı vermesin senin. Bok ye. Gitti neyi yedi ya Allah.
I kept eating and eating.
Kız diş fırçası falan yiyor manyak. Ölürsün tabii. Tüh. Git şuradan da su iç bari.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Kız neyi yedin? Allahümme salli. Gerçek mi ki bu da yedin bunu? Na bok ye.
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Git onu
It
da
was
ye.
a barn swallow going back to her
Ye
nest.
onu da
I
ye.
reached out for her. And suddenly,
Ve birden ananın
I was a
nikahı.
cat.
Sen manyak mısın? Aa.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Aa. Hayal gücü mü bu acaba? Çocuğun. Şimdi rüya mı görüyor acaba?
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Bence şu an rüya görüyor bu çocuk. Başka bir açıklaması çok olacağını düşünmüyorum.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Zıpladım ve neredeyse yakalıyordum bunu. Kızım sen salak mısın?
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Kız ne Spiderman'i? Çocuk kuş kedi oldu ya. Tövbe estağfirullah.
I gobbled her up,
Aha.
and suddenly I was an owl.
Birden baykuş
First,
mu
all
oldu?
I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Bence bu kızın hayal dünyası ya. Ya da rüyada yani. Bence macun da yememiş olabilir.
Rabbits.
Tavşanlar.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit.
Lan böyle
Then I
hayal
flew
gücü
off
mü
to find
olur?
something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Köpek balığı oldun bir anda. Bak sen Allah'ın hikmetine bir bak.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. wanted fat, juicy seals.
Lan yesene gari.
I tore off her
Allah.
flipper and it tasted really good.
Zehirleniyor. Hem macunu gerçekten yiyor yani. Bok yiyesici.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of
Sudan
the
dışarıya
water.
zıpladım lan.
When I opened my eyes, everything had
Bir şey
changed.
değişmiş. Ne olduk şimdi? Yılan.
Now I was a monster and I
Yılan.
smelled people everywhere.
Canavar bir de. Anlıyorum. Tabii efendim. Ee? Kendimizi mi yiyeceğiz? Ne bok yiyeceğiz? Gidemiyoruz mu? Heh?
I was big. but I
Çok
moved
büyüktüm
real
fakat çok
quiet.
sessiz hareket ettim. Allah Allah. Tövbe.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Bayağı herkes yiyeceğiz he. Allah Allah. Dur la ne yapıyorsun?
After the last passenger,
Teknedeki son
I was
insandan
still
sonra hala açtım. Suyun karşısında elde etmek zorunda olduğum yeni bir koku almıştım.
something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Ardından ona doğru yüzdüm. Tamam.
I slithered onto the sand.
Kumun üzerinde
and the
yılan
good
gibi
smell
su
ran
inerek
to an old pipe.
ilerledim. Güzel koku boruların içine doğru bana yol gösteriyordu. Allah Allah. Allah Allah. Böyle çocuk hayal gücü mü olur?
I got closer and closer.
Giderek yaklaştım. Aa Molly kendine geldi.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Tövbe estağfurullah. Molly kendini deli etmiş.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that,
Bunlara
but I'm sure Edie would
inansam mı
have.
bilemiyorum ama eminim ki Edie inanırdı. Kanka inanırdı tabii. Yani. Oha. Ne yapacağız? Biz de mi kedi olacağız?
This will be obvious later,
Annem
but
bana hiç
my
bu
mom never
hikayeden
told me any of these
anlatmadı.
stories.
Sen de bu hikayeleri
Edie
oldukça
would
anlam
have, but
veriyorsun.
Mom didn't like bringing up
Edi
the
anlatırdı
past.
ama annem geçmişleşmeyi hiç
Though,
sevmezdi.
when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Oysa başıboş bir kedi yavrusu sahiplendiğimizde ona Molly adını veren oydu. Diyorsan.
I spent a lot of time in great
Büyük
grandma
annem
Edie's
Edi'nin
room.
odasında çok zaman geçirdim. Onunla anlaşmıştık ve annemde saklanmak için ve annemden saklanmak için güzel bir yerde. Burada tek tek insanların hayatını göreceğiz o zaman.
We got along and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Ailesiyle ve eviyle birlikte denize yelken mi açtı? Tövbe.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Evet.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Tamam.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Çeviri yok. Lan niye çevirmemişler? Çıkamıyorum ben bundan. Heh. Odin.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Hiçbir şey diyemiyorum. Allah Allah. Allah Allah. Odaların hepsi tıklım tıkışa. Ne biçim?
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a
Edi
dragon,
insanlara Sven
She could also
ejderha
have said he
tarafından
was building a
öldürüldü
dragon-shaped
demek yerine
slide that
Sven'in
collapsed.
inşa ettiği ejderha
she could
şeklinde
have,
kaydıran
but she didn't.
keşke okuyabileydik abi.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Oha.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Düşün bakalım.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
İzlemeyeceğiz mi Edi'nin hayatını peki?
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Orası Allah'ın emri. Oha. Hele tuvalete bir bak. Bana prenses Diana. Allah aşkına.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Bu onun değilmiş. Bu dedenin ilk eşininmiş.
It was a pretty big trace.
Evet. Oh. Evet.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Aa. Eve bakar mısın? Her yerinde bir şey var. Manyak gibi.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Allah Allah. Ne kadar garip.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Devam. Aha. Burası kimin? Allah Allah, ne kadar garip.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
İn artık. İn lan. Kusacağım şimdi he. Abi first person oyunlardan nefret ediyorum ya. Vallahi kusacağım. İn. İn lan. İn kanka. Allah muhabbet aşkına in. Babacım in artık. Elini ayağını. He, ayağı kırık sallanıyor. İn lan, kusacağım. Lan neyle inecek bu? Vallahi kusuyor. İn. Sallamıyorum kız. Bıraktım. Sallanmam mı lazım? Ana. Grafiklerden mi oluyor acaba?
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Düş artık. Öyle amına koyduğum ya. Vallahi midem çok kötü.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Gerçekten Serkan, hiç bilmem öyle şeylere, hiç de sevmem. Realde de sevmem. Midem kalkıyor. Evet. Herkesin nasıl öldüğünü tek tek
After the
öğreniyoruz.
funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Peki, ayırmış. Evet.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room
Bu
again.
odayı bir daha yaşadım, atmadığını söylüyorum. Anlıyorum. Tabii efendim. Babacım, bu neymiş ya? Ev değil ki kanka. Ev başka bir şey. Tövbe.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and
Kanka, bu
bellies.
ev değil. Aa. Şeye geldik ya. Devam. Şurada ne var?
Growing up,
Aha.
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Düşünmüştüm. Barbara'nın odaya geldik. Barbara ben. Ya ev güzel de hem çok eşya var hem
I
de
never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
bu kadar çok. Tünel münel. Ne işi var evin içinde?
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Sonra Edie'nin bunu saklamasına şaşırdım.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed.
Tövbe
Unfortunately,
estağfurullah.
her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Tövbe estağfurullah.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Orada demek ki bir anahtar var.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Allah Allah. Ha, bunu da biz oynatıyoruz.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Aa.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Tövbe estağfurullah. Aleykümselam, hoş geldin. Aç. La nerede?
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Ama sen
Barb,
gerizekalı
relax.
mısın?
I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Aha. Walter neredeydi? Burası kapı dışı değil mi? Hay ananın nikahı be kardeşim ya. Aha. Ya ne oluyor?
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the Hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And where he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Çıkacak mı?
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
Ne yapacağız? Molly'nin odasına mı
Molly's
gireceğiz?
door hadn't been opened in years.
Al işte.
The hinges groan. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Ne yapacağız? İnsan mı öldüreceğiz? İn bakalım aşağı. Bak gitmiş adam.
Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was
Bak gördün mü? Kapı çalıyor.
someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Babacım ne oluyor ya?
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
Ne oluyor ya?
And she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen.
Bu oyun.
She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered,
Allah
as absurd as
Allah.
that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Nasıl ölmüş? Canavarlar tarafından ölmüş. Yani canavarlar varmıştı. Da öyle ölmüştü. Canavar. Ne yapacak? Nasıl çıkacağız?
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Şimdi müzik kutusuna gideceğiz. Müzik kutusundan bodruma ineceğiz.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Tak buraya. Devam ki. Canavarlar insan aslında. Aynen öyle. Aynen bebiş. Ay.
Mom said the basement was off
Annem bodrum
limits,
katını yasak
unless
olduğunu
I wanted
söylemişti.
another
Tekrar
tetanus shot.
tetanus aşısı olmayı, totom yerse başkaydı. Ne oluyor lan? Eve bak lan. Evde her şey
I
var.
saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Yemek sepetindeki tarifsiz fırsatlara ulaşmak, aynı zamanda da Rafunzell'inize destek olmak için chat'teki linke tıklayabilirsiniz. Teşekkür ediyorum.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Bu ne lan? Kör olduk.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
Allah Allah.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Oh.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Allah Allah.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years.
Bok yiyeceğiz, ne yiyeceğiz?
I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Evet.
I know it's out there
Tövbe
somewhere.
Estağfurullah. Lan bu nasıl ev ya?
Whatever killed Barbara.
Her ne öldürdüyse mi? Kanka yani.
And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
Bunlar hepsi deli mi acaba?
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Allah Allah. Yaz kızım.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Yani tamam da neyden korumaya çalışıyordu acaba? Kaldır kaldır kaldır kaldır kaldır kaldır. Tamam.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only
Daha
imagine what else she
nelerden
was hiding.
bahsetmemiştir.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Bebiş. Ne yapacak? Geri mi döneceğiz? Şuradan gideceğiz.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Yavrum yazıyorsun artık, yapacak bir şey yok. Girdik bir yola.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Yani bence de ama.
But
Bir
I
de
thought you
merak
should know
ettik.
about your family.
Bakar mısın? Bu ne biçim ev?
And the history you're a part of.
Buralarda bir şey var mı? Yok. Dönüyorum.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Vallahi hiç mümkünmüş gibi gelmiyor ama gene de sen bilirsin. Bana deli işiymiş gibi geliyor.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Evet. Neden? Mezarlık var
It's embarrassing for me to
kendinden.
admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Allah Allah. Allah Allah. Ne kadar garip.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Hadi bakalım biz de anlayabileceğiz mi acaba?
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now,
Evet.
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Tövbe estağfurullah. Deli gibi yaptık ki kendimizi. Şuradan gideceğiz. Evet, kızça hamile. Kızça daha
I
küçücük.
never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Allah Allah.
Sam spent
Yani
his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
her oda farklı farklı ya, çok garip.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off.
Nerede çocuk?
I'm over here, Dad.
Neredesin amına? Görmüyor. Ha, burada.
Not quite.
What?
Perfect.
Hı.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Smile, Dawn. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Nerede bu çocuğu mu çekeceğiz gene?
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though. Aw.
Neyi çekeceğiz başka? Dağını taşını şimdi bak. Söveceğim. Evet.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving.
Are you done yet?
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Nothing quite like being outside. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire.
Ben de fotoğraf çekmek istiyormuşum
Found
galiba.
an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
Ne çekeceksin daha ya? Of. Ne çekeyim? Ne istiyor? Ne çekeceğim?
Let's see.
Netlemiyor mu?
Maybe. Or was it? Could have been.
Bunu netleyemiyoruz mu?
Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Daha ilginç. Ne var babişko ilginç peki? Bahsetsene biraz. Ne var mesela yani? Ne dağı taşı her şeyi çektim de. Ne çekeceğim başka ilginç? Balığını da çektim. Daha ilginç. Yeter de. Çekmesek artık. He? Bıraksak.
You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo.
Tamam bırak o zaman. Allah Allah. Bana nasıl bırakacağımı söyle. Bırakamıyorum. Allah aşkına biri beni bu makineden kurtarsın. Babişko. Babişko. ESC'den çıkmıyor, hayır. Ne çekmem gerektiğini anlamıyorum. Her şeyi çektim burada olan. Daha ne çekeyim? Bırakmıyordu elinden. Of, kusacağım. Babiş. Babişiko. Kuşu, iti, köpeği, her şeyi çektim.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Kanka.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer. Hang on, kiddo. Just trying to get a shot of the two of us together.
Hay. Rabbim. Rabbim sen büyüsün. Kız çocuğu orada ağlıyor. Çıkamıyorum.
Crap.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
some-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
Ananı satayım acım. Babası böyle mi öldü ki?
Of all these stories, that's the one I
Aba.
wish most that my mom had told me.
İyiyim kuzum, sen nasılsın? Semişko böyle ölmüş ha? Mükemmel. Wow. Nereye gidiyorsun? Nereye gidiyorsun?
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ne yapıyorsun kanka?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. Reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
Tövbe estağfurullah.
Whatever it was he saw.
Ne yapmam gerekiyor şu an? Hadi tek tek bunları düşürürüz değil mi? Allah Allah. La düş artık be. Üf. Allah Allah. Ha, dur lan şunu mu çekeceğiz acaba? Yukarıdaki kolu çekecek olabilir miyiz? İyi gibi be Sema. Anlamaya çalışıyorum ne olduğunu. Aha. Aha. Evet evet işte. Heh. Dur. Şu evet.
It sure made him happy.
Aynen. Dur bakayım. Hay ananın nikahı kardeşim. Heh.
I know how silly it sounds.
Çarpılacağız mı? Endişelenmeyin diyor.
That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Boğuluyor mu çocuk? Ölüyor mu böyle?
Hey, there's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
Ölüyor.
And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Ya bu arada çocuğunu orada bırakmazsın da. Saçma sapan. Yani. Şimdi Eddie var. Gus var. Dur bakayım. Lewis var. Milton var. Gus var. Odin'i bulduk. Walter'ı bulduk. Eddie mi var bir de? Sonra oyun bitiyor mu? Bunları bulduktan sonra.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he
Denedim
never met
konuşmayı
her,
döksen içine ama hiç
we don't need a
konuşmadı onunla.
stepmom, were the
Ticarete
words that I
ihtiyacımız
know.
yok. Deniz kulaklarımda hala.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Babası ikinci bir kadınla evleniyormuş.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him
Gel
to come
buraya diye
here,
seslendiğinde
but
babam
Gus
fotoğraf.
declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went, but all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power, but All my father said to this was, make the music louder. I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet... She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Ah lan. Oğlum bu neymiş lan? Acı evi gibi. Vallahi billahi. Böyle ev mi olur ya? Oy. Bence de. Hiç ev gibi değil yani. Sem'e de baktık. Görkem hoş geldin. Kay. Neye bakacağız başka?
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Yani. Yani demiş. Çıkacağız mı artık? Bebiş, ne yapacağız? Burayla işimiz bitti. Şimdi buralara baktık. Tamam da artık sal bizi. Orada mı vardı ki acaba bir geçit gibi bir şey? Başka bir iki tane daha oda kaldı çünkü. Yani çok da bir şey kalmadı. Burada mı vardı acaba bir şey de ben görmedim. Bunlara baktık. Buradaki kapı var ama. Burası var. Yukarısı var ama işte buraya nasıl çıkacağız?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Tamam.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Kanka kız hamile mi acaba?
When my dad died, I don't think mom knew
Orayı
where
tam
else to go.
anlamadım.
I'm sure Edie was happy to
Daha
have her
17
back.
yaşında değil mi bu kız?
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while,
20
things were
haftalık
good.
hamileyim mi
Almost
kendisi için
normal.
mi dedi. Karnı da var. Diyorsun. Diyor. Ay. Tam bir okul öncesi odası.
But it didn't last. The
Oha.
beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Tövbe estağfurullah. Kız bu ne? Nasıl ev bu ya? Böyle ev mi olur arkadaş? Allah Allah. Ne kadar garip. Bu ne?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Boya fırçası. Tamam aç. Ananın aç. Ne kağıt harcamışım be dayı.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Evet. Tabii efendim.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Ne güzelmiş lan vallahi. Tepede bir tane daha ev var ha. Vay be, evin içinde ev. Çık.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
Ne güzelmiş lan. Ne cafcaflayı. Aa, nereye gideceğim? Buradan hiçbir yer yok. Şuradan gidelim. Oha, nargile var. Güzel.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Çok iyiymiş.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Ee? Bu ne?
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats.
Lan ne oluyor amına?
And toads.
Bir yandan balık kesip bir yandan bunu oynayamıyorum. Beynim bu kadar çalışmıyor.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then.
Beynimin %100'ünü kullanırsam ne olur? Oynat bakalım.
Daydreaming at the cannery.
Ay ananın nikahı.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Çok iyiyim ha. Övün beni.
Like a whole new Lewis.
Övün beni şu anda. İkisini de ben yapıyorum.
So I let him go on.
Ama yazıları kaçırdım mesela. Ne diyor?
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
Aslında bu onun hayal gücü. Okey, onu anladım.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. he built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Ardından müzisyenler yarattı. Hayal dünyasında hep böyle şeyler kuruyor aslında. Okay.
And songs for them to play.
Şarkı. Dur kanka şurada.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
Belki müzisyen olmak istiyordu. Yani illa deli gibi yaptınız. Daha da güçlenmiş. Okay.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won.
Evet.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Abi sıkılmadık mı balık?
Conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
Selamlar Amit, hoş geldin.
He started drifting away from our reality.
Vallahi beynimin %100'ünü kullanıyorum şu an.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Lan dur. Düz giren ne yapalım?
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Allah Allah, komple.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Ya ananın nikahı kanka, ne yapayım ben?
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know.
Evet, çok belli.
I think it
Allah.
pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Ah lan Görkem.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Delirmiş. Beynini yemiş.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Allah Allah. Allah Allah.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
O da böylece buradamış he.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Kim kaldı? Eddie var. Lewis. Walter Odensem. Molly. Eddie mi kaldı bir?
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Hadi bakalım. Küçücük kız hamile. Tövbe estağfurullah.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Hayda.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Hayda.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Yırtılacak.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Allah'ım. Allah'ım. Bitti. Vallahi bitti. The end diyor. Başarı kazandık. Çok çıtırmış. Her şeyi kaçıran ben. Çok tatlıymış. Ağlayacaksın mı? Tövbe estağfurullah. Çok güzelmiş. Çok tadında böyle. Tatlı. Hikaye oyunlarını o yüzden çok seviyorum. Anlamadığın noktalar varsa sadece sonunu kendi çocuğu için yazdı değil mi? Allah'ım. Bunlar yazarların kendi fotoğrafları mı acaba? PC'ye sövsen günah olur mu? Olmaz. Oğlum çok tatlıymış lan. Teşekkür ediyorum Nedacığım. Valla. İlk başta bir ne oluyor oldu ama güzel oldu. Bunlar kendi fotoğrafları ya. Yazanların, çizenlerin falan kendi fotoğrafları bence. Çok tatlı. Allah'ım. Vallahi çok tatlıymış. İlk başta bir kuramadık, vuramadık bir şeyler oldu ama ondan sonrası güzel oldu. Şunu da kapatayım.